Mr. Raptor, how did I get the arcades? Okay, story time, guys. Story time. We're going to talk about how these arcade machines came into my collection. Okay, so what happened was I was scrolling on Facebook Marketplace like I always do. I do that all the time. About 2 years ago, I was scrolling on Facebook Marketplace and I came across a listing about an hour and a half to 2 hours away from me with Boom JP3 arcade machine. And when I saw it, I'm gonna be honest with you, I lost my mind. I was like, no way. Did I just find a Jurassic Park 3 arcade machine for sale? Like, you've got to be joking me. There's no way. And so, of course, I purchased it. And it wasn't as expensive as I thought something like this would be. So I purchased it. And then, after I purchased it, had it for a while, I thought to myself, well, if I have JP3, shouldn't I have the Lost World? Because I knew they had a stand-up Lost World machine. And so then I was like, okay, you know what? We're going to look for the Lost World machine. And I searched the internet, all this, and I found one about, I don't know, maybe 8 hours away. And what I did was I purchased it and I paid a company to go pick it up. And then, bam, next thing you know, I had The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 in my collection, both of them. And so then I thought to myself, well, I have Jurassic Park 3 and The Lost World. Is it, and I thought to myself, is it possible to own the original version? I just didn't even think it was possible because, for one, I mean, it's so big and it's got a whole seat attached to it and all this. So I never even had fathomed owning it. And then I thought to myself, I looked up the dimensions, all this. I found out that the seat unbolts from the monitor. And I thought to myself, wow, maybe I can own it. Because how epic would it be to have not one, not two, but three vintage Jurassic Park arcade machines? So, when I had that thought, I started searching for the original one. And honestly, this was impossible to find. So I couldn't find one anywhere. I scoured the internet for a year straight, guys. Literally a year straight, I scoured the internet looking for it. And never found any. I mean, I couldn't even find sold listings, anything. I could find, occasionally one of these two. Occasionally. But I couldn't find this one for the life of me. And so then what I did was I kept searching, kept searching. I finally found one that wasn't in perfect working condition, but decent. I found one on the other side of the country. I mean, literally, I live on the East Coast. It was on the West Coast. It couldn't have been further away from me. And it was the only one I could find after a year straight of searching. And because of that, I found the person, I messaged them, I paid for it, paid a company to pick it up, and then once it got here, I got it repaired by a repairman, and bam, I had this machine in my collection, which was literally a dream come true. I didn't think it was even possible. Honestly, I didn't think it was possible for me to own this, but now I do. Now, the reason why this machine is so hard to get, okay? Now, obviously, all three of the machines are very hard to find, hard to get. It's just, it's difficult, okay? But this one is specific, is 10 times more difficult to get than both of those combined. And the reason being is when they started pulling these machines out of Chuck E. Cheese's, what they did was they figured that the parts of the machine were worth more, way more than the whole machine together. So what they did was they took the hydraulic system out of the seat and sold it, and they took the joysticks off and sold it, and they took the motherboard off and sold it, and they took the monitor and sold it. And then by the time they parted it out, it was just scrap metal and wood. And so then they took those and destroyed them. And so really, there was not many of these that survived. So with that being said, it was not only hard to find one of these, but it's hard to find one that's even in one piece. And so when I found one that was, in decent condition, I jumped on it and bam, it made it to my collection. It's absolutely incredible. And now I own all